Hi everyone, it's Joy with Well with Joy, and in today's video I'm going to talk about fasting. I didn't know if I was going to do this video or not, but I've seen a lot of posts on Instagram, on Facebook about prayer and fasting and the power behind it. So I thought I would share with you my journey and why fasting is part of my everyday life now and what I've learned along the way. Now, I'm no expert, but I'm just sharing my own experience. So I started fasting about 2.5 years ago. And before that, I didn't really know much about fasting. I was brought up in the Protestant religion, and we never learned much about it. And it was never taught to us in a way that we could apply it to our own life. You know, it was maybe said in passing for a sermon, you know, fasting and prayer changes things, fasting, you know. And later on, fasting was dropped off. Prayer changes things. So fasting wasn't even part of that anymore. And it wasn't anything I saw my family do, take part in. And so it didn't seem like it was important. It seemed like it was for back in the Bible days or holy people that I don't know. So it wasn't until I became Catholic that I really heard much more about fasting. And even then, it wasn't too much. But I remember being welcomed into the Catholic Church and an Easter vigil, but before that was Lent. And I was going through RCIA, and I had different Catholic people I knew or family members from my husband's family, and they were talking about giving up sweets. It was Lent. And I remember hearing stuff about that on TV. I didn't really know what Lent was, but I remember saying giving up sweets because it's Lent. So this was what I thought fasting was, giving up sweets for Lent. And I remember I would give up sweets or give up Diet Coke or cream in my coffee and think that it was something really great. You know, I had never heard of it or seen anybody do something like that and be committed like for 40 days to give something up. And I remember watching my husband drink black coffee for 40 days, and I thought, wow, he is really dedicated. He is really wants to be purposeful for during this Lenten season. And so I was impressed with it. I had never seen that before. I'd never seen anybody say no to a donut or no to a sweet for over a period of time like that. Never. And so I was quite impressed with that. So I remember giving up Diet Coke and thinking, oh yes, look what I'm doing. I'm giving up Diet Coke. It was hard. It was hard, you know, but by Easter, I had a glass of Diet Coke. I did my fasting, and now I could have it back. And now I realize that isn't totally what it's all about, but that's where I was. And so it wasn't until about 2.5 years ago, I started looking for a way to lose weight and to heal my body. And I came into eating a certain way, a ketogenic diet. And of course, with that, I started to research the ketogenic diet. And what goes along perfectly with a ketogenic diet is fasting, intermittent fasting. And when I researched it, of course, what you're going to hear, most of what you're going to hear is the health benefits of it. There are so many health benefits of it. And actually, one of the doctors I listened to just put out a video yesterday on health benefits, and I will put that down below because it's quite interesting what fasting does for our bodies, just the healing it does. But anyway, I started intermittent fasting and started out with, 12 hours a day and moved that more, to, just worked, fasting, intermittent fasting, most of us fast 8 hours a day anyway when we sleep. So you just tack on a couple more hours and you can fast for 12 hours quite easily. And so that's what I started to do. And I did some more longer fasts, beside usually 20 to 22 hours, sometimes over like 36, but nothing too crazy. But that fasting started to heal my body. I lost the weight I was looking to lose, and it started to heal the things that I was looking to heal. I had plantar fasciitis. It also did some things I wasn't expecting. I had brown spots on my face. It took those away. It helped with other inflammation I had. My eyelashes grew longer. It gave me some benefits that I didn't even realize that it could do. And so I began to do that. And it's been part of my life for 2.5 years. But the thing that I really recognize now is how much fasting has changed my life, not just in my health, not just in my body. And I started to wonder why that was. And I started to think about the correlation between fasting for weight loss or fasting for health and how that connected into my spiritual life. And so I came across a quote, and this is from Saint Basil the Great. Fasting gives birth to prophets and strengthens the powerful. Fasting makes lawgivers wise. Fasting is a good safeguard for the soul and a steadfast companion for the body, a weapon for the valiant and a gymnasium for the athletes. This saint obviously was saying, Saint Basil the Great was obviously knew that there was a correlation between fasting and the strength of our bodies, as well as the strength for our soul. So the whole time that I have been fasting, I have been practicing self-discipline, practicing self-denial. With that, also fasting, when your body, when everything's gone, when everything's digested and the sugar is low and the insulin is low in your body, you have mental clarity. You're aware of things. You see things in a different way. Your energy is lifted. You have more energy. I can get up in the morning, do my workout, clean my house, and do what I have to do while I'm fasted, and the energy is through the roof. It's something I would never, ever change. Never change. It's what I do every day, and the benefits are just wonderful. I will never eat breakfast again, and I know that because of just the benefits of fasting. So when I started to think about that, because what I noticed was in those last 2 years is my focus not only on my health and what I had to do, but my focus on my spiritual life, my soul, what I needed to do to be Jesus in my family. Now we are soul and body. God created the soul, and the soul is carried through life by our body. And our body is Jesus's hands and feet. It's his arms to embrace, his hands to serve, his voice to speak. And so we need to take care of this temple that he's given us. We need to respect it and we need to take care of it. And as I was trying to lose weight and trying to be healthy, I was also taking care of this temple in a way I had never done before. Something I had never done. I had never denied myself. I had never said no to the things my body wanted. And so this discipline brought on a whole new awareness that one does not live by bread alone. And what's important is not what's on the dinner table. It's important to a point because we do have to feed our bodies, but it isn't the end all. And this really helped me to see that in my own life. And so fasting has brought me closer to Jesus and brought me to an awareness that I had never had before. And there's a reason why there's a lot of, our spiritual leaders, people asking for you to fast and pray. And as Catholics, fasting is all through the liturgical year. We're always asked to fast. Well, there's a reason. Everything in the church that you have a question about, you can always find out why. What's the reason? And it usually makes a whole lot of sense. And so there's power in fasting and prayer because our mind is on what's above and what's good and not on what we're going to make for the next meal or how we're going to put food into our bodies. And so I would really encourage you to consider fasting. Consider fasting. And if you just want to do it at the beginning for your health, then do it. Do it because benefits are just going to come from it. We are body and soul. So if you take care of your body with a tool that God gave us, he gave us this tool. Fasting has been around forever. Jesus fasted. It's something that he has shown us that this is something we can use for our own benefit and for the benefit of our soul, for the souls of the ones we love, for our church, for our world. Our Lady has asked us to fast. Fasting is powerful. And when you do it with the intention of God's will, it can move mountains. It can move mountains. And it's totally changed my life, and it can change anybody's life by being committed and by really practicing denying yourself some things. Now, there's a book I wanted to share with you that I read over this last Lent, and this is Eat, Fast, and Feast. Eat, Fast, Feast. And it's by J.W. Richards, and it goes in more about fasting and how fasting and prayer go together. He talks a lot about a low-carb ketogenic diet in here because it is ancestrally correct. It's the way our ancestors ate, and he explains why. He also explains how adding in the fasting to that is just, it's powerful for our body, for healing, for mind. Do it with prayer in mind, and so it can just heal body and soul together. You know, this one tool can do so much. This is actually a Christian guide to fasting, but he is Catholic, and so it's written from a Catholic point of view, which is really, really nice. It's a great companion to have. So I would encourage you to find out, you know, don't take my word for it. Look for on the internet, look for different doctors. I'll put some resources down below, but the benefits of fasting and how fasting and prayer can just change the world. And I have, actually, there's another video I'll post down there. It was a nun that I had just listened to her this past week on fasting, and how she talks about how it's changed people's life and how powerful it is. It is. It's just so powerful. And so I ask you to go ahead, consider it. And if you have any questions at all, or you can think of anything you want to ask me, let me know. And I can do a video about, you know, maybe how to get started or different tips and tricks, whatever you want to know. Just let me know specifically what you might want to know about it, and I can do a video on that. So I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.